because now truly is all we ever have. Welcome to the Inspired Wave. This is the podcast and community for conscious female leaders and founders who are ready to enjoy more peace and prosperity in their business while creating more inspired impact in the lives they're here to serve. Who are ready to fully step into their leadership and live their life's purpose with confidence and passion. I'm your host, CJ Rivard, and with over 30 years in leadership and business, I blend tactical strategies with the art of intuition, the science of energetics, and the magic that happens when we create empowered relationships and take aligned action, all to help women get out of hustle mode, thrive, and really fall in love with what they do. If you're enjoying this podcast, please consider sharing it and leaving us a 5-star review. It really will make a huge difference in helping others find the podcast and allows us to inspire and impact more lives. Welcome to the show. So at the time of this recording, we have just launched into a brand new sparkling new year. It's 2024, and we're all talking about our big visions and goals and exciting plans for the new year. So this is a great time as a conscious leader to address this dichotomy that we know we have to balance and figure out between driving forward with our vision, making plans, and being present in the now. So I have some great tips that are going to help you with this, so stay tuned. So I know most of you have heard these expressions. You may have heard them overused, actually. Things like you need to find joy in the journey. We want to have joy in the journey. All we ever have is now. Find joy in the now. And the problem is, I believe all of us understand conceptually why this is important, what it's all about, but we're so busy, we don't necessarily stop to embrace the idea and practice it because we're not in the habit of it. So bringing ourselves back to the present and focusing on enjoying what we're doing will bring us more happiness in our life, because those future plans never actually get here. All we have is now. So focusing on happiness and choosing happiness now is all we can do. And it makes all the difference in making our lives and our businesses, everything we do every day, all day, a more pleasant experience. So as leaders, we have to have a vision and goals and plans for the future because we have to be able to steer our business forward. And I'm a big believer in being creative and innovative so that we can stay relevant to our customers. So we're always having to plan and focus on the future. Absolutely. And then we need to remember to come back to what's right in front of us that we're doing and find happiness. Choose happiness, not find it. Choose happiness now, enjoying what we're doing rather than have to do, if that makes sense. We all have a lot of have tos, but the reality is we choose to. And isn't that amazing that we get to do that? And how can we be grateful and happy for getting to do that? The other thing I want to point out here is that the first way we lead is through our energy. So ensuring that we remember to come back to the present and focus on finding happiness, choosing happiness in the present moment ensures that we're able to stay in a higher frequency, because remember, the more positive emotions are in a higher frequency, and that makes us more magnetic leaders, as well as just more pleasant people to be around, basically. So it's a win for us because we're happier, And it's a win for our teams and everyone else around us because we're more pleasant to be around, right? Everybody, happier people are more magnetic. We know this to be true. Now, I want to acknowledge that most of us, unless you've been working at this for a while, most of us have habits of having very busy minds. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how we're wired. We're busy, checking everything out, thinking about the future, making plans. Our minds are very busy. But I want to point out that that also is a habit. And so like any other habit, we can choose to change it. But we have to be intentional and we have to practice. It's not going to be an overnight success ever when you're starting a new habit, whatever is. Because first of all, we forget, right? We forget to do the new thing. So we have to be very intentional in how we go about it. So I want to share a little bit about habit creation, and you can actually apply this to any new habit that you're starting. But specifically today, we're going to talk about the habit of being present and choosing more gratitude in your life. So just like any habit building, you want to start small. Chunk down what you want to create into the smallest possible action or smallest possible time frame. Because I know if this has never happened to you, you know people like this. They get all enthused about a new habit and they have this big, gargantuan new habit that they're all excited about. You know, this big new way of being that they're going to jump into. And then what happens? It's too much too fast. They get discouraged because they forget or they fall off the wagon. They're not successful. So then they get discouraged. And then what happens? They quit. So we don't want to do that. We want to start really small and get you a win as quickly as possible. Because when you experience success, that starts a positive habit loop, a reward loop, if you will, and you want more success. And so you're going to keep going with that new tiny little habit. And after you've built consistency, you're going to be able to expand it. All right, I'll give you an example. So instead of getting upset with yourself because you forget to be present every day, all day, because it's new, and that's what happens with new habits, we forget. Instead of trying to do it all day long, you start with a really small amount of time, and you can make it the same time every day. And for that small amount of time, let's say it's 10 minutes, up to you, but let's say 10 minutes. For that small amount of time, you can keep doing what you normally do, but your primary focus is to be present. Just focus on what you're doing and be present with what you're doing and in gratitude, which is going to help with the happiness factor. Be grateful that you're able to do it, as an example. And after you become consistent with this, so you've been successful, then you can expand it to add more time or perhaps different times through the day or a different type of task that you were going to practice being present with. So I hope that makes sense. And when the topic of being present comes up, I just want to address that most people think about meditation or a mindfulness practice, which is what we're talking about really, being more mindful. And you can absolutely have a meditation practice. If you already do that, it will help. You're training your brain to kind of slow down and be present. However, you do not need a meditation practice to be able to do this. And if you don't already have one, it's actually going to distract you from the point at hand. What you want to do is build this mindfulness into the context of your actual everyday work day or home day, wherever you're starting, into your actual day when you're busy. And this is going to take you much further faster than trying to start over there in a quiet corner at the beginning or end of your day with a meditation practice that, it's in an environment that's not relevant to the rest of your day, and it's going to be harder to bring it in to the rest of your day. So start small, but within what, the context of what you're already doing in a normal day. So I want to share 3 tools you can use or techniques you can use to begin to build your awareness and practice being present. And you don't need all of these. Don't worry, just pick one. All right. Or you don't even have to pick one, but this will help you get on your way and get into your mindfulness practice. So the first tip, and I love this technique for any kind of habit building, because we always forget when something's new and it's not a habit yet, you can anchor it on top of something you already do every single day, such as brushing your teeth, as an example, or going to make your coffee. And so you could decide, all right, I'm already doing this every day. When I do this, after that, I'm going to take an extra minute to practice being really present and thinking about something I'm grateful for, which is going to add to the happiness factor, right? When we get into gratitude, that raises our frequency and makes us happy. Another example, if you don't want to do it while you're brushing your teeth, this would help you throughout the day, is to anchor it to every time you go have a drink of water or a cup of tea, let's say. When you go to take a drink, you're going to add 30 seconds of being really present with that drink and bring in your 5 senses. What do you feel? What do you taste? What do you smell? Be really present with that drink and focus on gratitude. Again, to help with the happiness factor. How grateful are you for that cup of tea? That's just another example. You obviously pick something that resonates for you as an easy place to start. Just a little chunk of time to start so that you can experience success right out of the gate and then build on that. The other thing you can do instead of the anchoring technique is set alerts or reminders for yourself, because again, remember, you're not used to doing it. It's not a habit. So set yourself up for success and don't beat yourself up for forgetting. Set reminders. They can be electronic, or you can put Post-it notes or other physical reminders around your house or office, whatever works for you. But set yourself up for success by setting reminders. And then when you get or you see the reminder, come back to the present moment for however much time you told yourself you would do it. Focus on your 5 senses to bring yourself to the present and think about something you're grateful for. Simple, like 30-second, minute, 2-minute exercise. But if you're scattering that throughout your day, it adds up to a lot. And that practice will just continue to expand and get easier once you get the habit started, which is the hardest part. The third tip I have, and this is an exercise that you may have heard me mention before because we use it to practice emotional regulation. So the tip is, every time you notice that you're feeling an emotion that you don't like, something unpleasant, little stress or anxiety, angst or anger at, something that's gone on during your day, notice what you're thinking about. And typically it's going to be something from the past or the future rather than the present moment. And if that's the case, choose to come back to the present moment and think of something you're grateful for. So that has 2 benefits. You're getting back to the present, but it's also snapping you out of that funk or that unpleasant feeling that you're experiencing. by bringing you back to the present and something you're grateful for, which will then bring you into a happy state and a higher frequency. So there's many wins in that practice, but the trick is noticing when you're experiencing the unpleasant emotion, which again, because it's not a habit yet, could be a little challenging. So what you might want to do if you're going to pick that one is do a review at the end of the day and think about, okay, did I have any unhappy emotions? And did I notice when they came up? If I didn't, let me think about it now. When did they come up? Because then you can see patterns so you can look for it in the future and be more aware as they're coming up. That's just a little trick because, again, you're building a habit. It could be a little challenging in the beginning to notice when it comes up for you. So the benefits of being present and in gratitude and choosing happiness are tremendous. These emotions that we all want to feel more of are always a choice, but when we're busy, we forget that there's something we can choose now. So being more present helps us just come to terms with the choice of being happy or more joyful or more grateful in the moment. But first we have to be present and not caught up in thinking about the future or the past and, getting into whatever quagmire that takes us down. We need to be more in the present. And again, if you just start small, you can build on that and feel the success and the good feeling. I mean, that experiencing more of that happy feeling is going to give you positive reinforcement to keep doing it. So it's a win-win. So just to reiterate, you absolutely want to have your big vision and your goals that you're working toward and your plans so that you can stay on track. And remember to practice being present and choosing happiness or joy or gratitude, because now truly is all we ever have. So I really appreciate you tuning in today. Thanks for being here, and I look forward to speaking with you again really soon. Take care.